And still staying with the energy sector, we now bring a feature for the show today. Reactions continue to trail the federal government's extension of the suspension of the new electricity tariff regime by 1 week. This comes after the ad hoc technical committee on electricity tariff submitted its interim report at a reconvened meeting between the federal government and organized labor earlier on Monday in Abuja. The new tariff was earlier suspended for 2 weeks. Now, Senator Chris Ngie, Minister of Labour and Employment, while reading a resolution reached, said that the adoption of the work plan for effecting the resolution has been reached. Now, using the Nigerian electricity supply industry value-added tax proceeds to provide relief in electricity tariff, this is also to leverage on the value-added tax from the NESE. The increases experienced by customers due to the transition to the service-based tariff will now be reduced. That is, for Band A, they'll have a 10% reduction, for Band B, 10.5% reduction, and Band C, 31% reduction. And joining me now live via Skype from London, I have Olabode Austin, a project manager with Oli Energy Technologies. Good to have you on the Breakfast Show today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Olabode, what do you make of this intermittent extension in terms of the suspension of the new electricity tariff regime? Now, with a focus on how this affects the review process, modalities for the implementation, and its impact on engagement so far across board with the populace and stakeholders.
First of all, like I've said on this program before, I think government's involvement with price regulation is not something I very much agree with. I'll take you to the way we've treated AGO in Nigeria, like that's diesel. We've more or less left it to market forces, and we don't have many complaints in that area. I think government in the electricity sector needs to let its hands off it. Regulating, reviewing tax price bands every week or every other week. I think it's not what they should be concentrating on. The government has no business running business.
Well, at the end of the day, we still have to work around the pricing template, which is going to effectively have a sustainable model. But on the issue of mandatory refund for any overbilling during the system transition by discos that the NERC should implement immediately within October. So we also have this new target saying that if there's any overbilling, they will be refunded. What do you make of this move as well within this transition period?
Well, I think it's long overdue, and I think this is also why people have been calling for adequate billing system from the distributors of energy. But of course, we know that discos have been reluctant to build energy usage according to how it's being used, and by providing meters to the people. So I think this is a step in the right direction, but I think government should get its hands off that system totally.
Olabode, you just made mention of metering. At the end of the day, one of the biggest conversations we are having in Nigeria is metering and also alternative energy sources. But with the huge unmetered gap we have at this point in time, well, the NERC and government is also saying that we are going to see an acceleration of the national mass metering program. But still going back to the meter asset program scheme that we've seen, we've not necessarily seen an improvement in the number of meters being churned out. Now we have a target of about 6 million, and then from now till December, we expect 1 million meters to be distributed. How critical is it at this point in time that government has to hit the nail on its head in terms of meter production and delivering on all of these?
Okay, so I'm not the biggest fan of government getting involved in metering. Government doesn't make meters. It would have to contract it to the private sector. So I strongly believe that the private sector should be taking the biggest steps in this initiative. I think NEC has a duty to ease up its entry requirement for new players in the system. You know, some of this bureaucratic bottlenecks basically are what are hindering other players from coming in to provide services to the people at very low cost. So if NEC does due diligence by letting more players come in and make that space competitive, I think would be getting somewhere as fast as possible.